I have to pee like every 10 minutes because I have the bladder the size of a peanut. Is that okay to say in an interview? I totally get why this is not what you would think of when you think of me. I am very aware that people mostly imagine a lighthearted musical romp when they think of me. But this movie I found so emotionally powerful, even though it is like certainly undeniably a fascinating true crime story. I think that there's an emotional thematic thing that happens in the movie that I really relate to, and unfortunately I imagine many others do as well. Certainly all the ways in which women kind of have to bend and shrink to get through the day, but how much we really risk when we decide to trust someone. And, you know, that can be violence that is just emotional, or it can be something as extreme as what happens in this film. Certainly trying to create an atmosphere of, the kind of casual violence that exists in so many small interactions. And I think the fact that there's not a lot that is known about my character in particular gave us the opportunity to really flesh out those ideas. And I always felt like the question that she lives with in each scene is, do you see me as human, or do you see me as something else? And there are times where I think the hanging, looming question is the most maddening thing, because by the end of the movie, my character has her answer, and it's not a great answer, but it's at least resolution in a way. Because sometimes being told that reality is not reality is harder than just acknowledging that the reality of things sometimes is not great. Ooh, this is hard because on the one hand, I am absolutely over the moon proud of what the cast and crew and I were able to pull off in, having been there and knowing the timeline and the resources that we had. In one way, I am, bursting with pride for everyone. And on the other hand, I think my imposter syndrome is worse than it was before I directed this movie, because something like isn't a complete disaster and you start going, oh God, but what if it was a fluke and maybe I should just fake my own death and like flee the country, and everyone will just say, oh, it's a shame, she had so much potential. It was a real tough love pep talk. I was like, why are you talking to me the way I talk to everyone? I was like, I'm calling for a flowery Brittany Snow 20-minute pep talk. But, all she had to say was, look, Anna, you're gonna get on set and you're gonna know what to do. And she just would not really elaborate, which, wasn't what I was looking for in the moment, but was certainly exactly what I needed to hear. Unexpectedly, the first phone call that I made was to Paul Feig. And, the only reason I say that's unexpected is because when you're about to make a movie about a serial killer, you wouldn't necessarily think you call the director of Bridesmaids. But I really love how Paul is as a filmmaker, as a coworker, as a collaborator, and weirdly very similar to Brittany. He gave me a very tough love pep talk where it was like, the buck stops with you, it's your responsibility, no excuses. So I called two of the sweetest people in my phone book as I was preparing for this. We wrapped that a few months ago now. We shot it in Italy, and it was absolutely insane. And it's kind of more madness and twists than the first movie. Yeah, I imagine it'll come out next year. Oh God, why would I torture myself? My goodness. I did one of those things for, I don't know, Vanity Fair or whatever, where they make you sit and react to your old movies. And I did the most cliche thing where all I kept saying is, that can't actually be my voice. Was I sucking on a helium balloon? What is going on? It's really unnerving to watch yourself slowly mature, on a film camera. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it psychologically.